The developer should understand this. If you can't understand this, this is useful to find the mistakes and fix the mistakes. You can find out your own mistakes and fix it. To fix it, we are the doctors. If a program is not working as expected, we have to fix it. So we are the doctors for programs. So now you went to a doctor and you are telling that I am having headache. Now will you open your brain and see what is there in that?
No, sir.
So first 2 3 times he will give medicines. After 2 3 times also, if he cannot identify the mistake, then he will say, okay, do the scanning. First only he will write a scanning. Ideal doctor. We are talking about a good doctor, not a fraud one. These days, for everything they will ask you to do the X-rays, etc. But ideally, forget about these days. Consider 50 years back. The Ayurvedic doctors. If you go to the Ayurvedic doctors, will they write any scanning, etc.?
No, sir.
Like catching your pulse. By seeing your pulse only, they will identify what the mistake is. So that much, we call it as the old sadhus and rishis. They don't have specialist doctors at that time. Only they used to treat it. How they treat it? By seeing your pulse rate only, they used to identify. Okay, this might be the problem. So this will be the solution they used to give. But these days, money earning is becoming more and more. So for everything, we are doing the same thing. So forget about that. Now the concept here is for everything. First thing in production system, will the developer have permissions to execute? In production main server, can a developer execute a program?
No, sir.
Ideally, no. We don't give permissions. We don't give permissions to developer to execute the program in the main system. Only end users will execute the program. So wherever you cannot execute the program, we cannot debug it. What is debugging? I'll explain you. We cannot debug it. If you cannot execute the program, executing line by line is called as debugging. When you don't have permissions to execute, how can you debug line by line? Not possible. In such case, we have to use the concept of dry run. So ideally, some institutes will never cover this dry run, and they will cover this debugging in the last. After the course is over, they will cover it in the last, because it is not tough, it is bit confusing. For the first time you are debugging the code, so it will be a bit confusing only. Now today let's confuse. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, after 3 4 days you'll be comfortable. So I like to cover all the tough topics in the starting only, because once we complete the tough topics, we'll have a lot of time to practice. So practice again and again and again. After 1 week or 10 days, you'll be comfortable. Once you complete your tough topics, rest all easy topics we can do in the last also. So this is very very crucial. Now for the next 2 3 days, whatever programs you write, debug those programs. Then you will clearly understand what is debugging and what is dry run. Now whenever you got stuck, you will never reach to me or your friends for help. You can fix your own. To fix your problems, first thing is identify the problems. To identify a bug in a program, we have two ways. First one is dry run, second one is debugging. So by seeing your symptoms, the doctor will tell. By seeing the symptoms, by seeing without executing, by seeing we should tell what is the mistake. That is called as dry run. When you cannot analyze 10 lines of code, when you can't analyze 10 lines of code in your brain, there will be thousands of lines of code which will be there in production. How can you analyze? So this is bit crucial. So from the starting onwards, try to achieve it. What is this? Let's see. What is dry run? Let's see. So now my requirement is somewhat like this. This is my requirement. Draw this table. Inside this will fill something. My requirement is to draw this table. So now I am putting some keywords here. First I want an underline. I want some gap. So I am leaving some gap, 3 lines of gap. Then I want to write a underline. So I am writing one underline at 10, starting at 10, say 20, 30, 40, 20, 30, 40. So I will take it as 50 length. I am drawing a line of 50 length. Okay. Then I am going to the right statement. That means I kept this underline. I kept this underline. Then I want this pipe symbol. So at 10, I am drawing one pipe symbol. Then right, right at 20 at just a 30. One more pipe symbol. One more pipe symbol. Then right at 45. One more pipe symbol. Right at 60. One more pipe symbol. Next, right in a new line starting from 10 of width 20. That means I am assuming that I am drawing this line. I am drawing this line. Then again I have to put vertical lines. Again, I am putting vertical lines. Right at 10. Pipe symbol. Right at 10 kada 20. One more pipe symbol.
So
Right.
this right 10 will be the next line on next line.
Wait. Let me complete. Right at 30. Pipe symbol. Right at 45. Pipe symbol. Right at 60. Pipe symbol. U line. New line 10 or 50. Now, this some cases wantedly I will do a mistake. Wantedly. So I have done some mistakes here wantedly. Now some of your friends said, sir, here forward slash should come, sir. You have not kept forward slash. Now she has not executed the code. Still I am writing the code. But still she said that something is wrong here. How? How?
By seeing and analyzing.
Analyzing it. So first you are analyzing it in your brain. Okay, first skip will leave 3 lines, then new line will draw a line. Like this, you are analyzing and said that okay, this line, this line is the statement. If you don't take the cursor to the next line, it will overwrite the text. So to avoid overwriting, we have to keep forward slash. If you don't want to overwrite, we have to keep forward slash. So that's the reason she said put a forward slash.
Again,
Without
right, it should be
executing.
U line, sir,
Yes. Where?
on
Here,
top of it,
here is
the
U line.
cursor.
Sorry,
Yes,
U line.
yes.
U line. This is U line.
And this
Now,
and after U line, sir, we will write pipe symbol in this line also.
wait. Let me complete. So, wantedly, I did a mistake. So now, if you observe, when I did a mistake, you people are telling, "Sir, this is wrong. This is wrong." Yes, this is wrong. I accept this is wrong. Wantedly, I did some mistakes. Now, when we do the coding, we are tend to do some mistakes. Tend to do some mistakes. Before executing the code, you have to observe the code cleanly and assume what will be the output. So what I assumed that this skip will give this blank line, this blank lines. The skip statement will give me these blank lines. This U line is for this one, the underline. These four keywords are to draw these four lines. These four keywords are to draw this line, this line, this line, this line. Four keywords. Now U line. To draw this U line, this is the keyword I used. Now these five, this right statement will cover these lines, these lines, this line, this line, this line, this line, this line. Five lines are there, so five right statements are there. And in the last underline will be covered by this U line. This is what we analyzed. And we feel that program is correct only, but program is wrong. Your friends are saying the program is wrong. Yes, it is wrong. They have not executed it. They are executing it in their brain. First rule, the developer should understand what he is doing. So many people always ping me, sir, I'm not able to, how my output is not coming, somewhere is going wrong. By default, the system won't do anything wrong. You are telling the system wrongly, so it is doing wrong. So first, you should know what you are doing. If you don't know what you are doing, what's the use? Some people will mug up the syntax. Right statement. I understood right statement. That's it. So now if you see, if I write this program as it is, I won't get the output. What I will get? First, I am drawing one U line. This will write a U line. If you can't analyze the code in your brain, take a paper and say, okay, first skip 3, we'll leave 3 lines. Then U line, will draw one underline, which is of width 50 characters. Then write at 10. So I'm writing one pipe symbol at 10. Then I'm writing a pipe symbol at 30. Then I'm writing a pipe symbol at 45. Then I'm writing a pipe symbol at 60. 60. Then I'm drawing one U line of 50. So drawing a U line of 50. From here, I am taking my cursor again to the next line. So drawing a line at 10, drawing a line at 10, drawing a line at 20, drawing a line at 30, drawing a line at 30, drawing a line at 45, drawing a line at 65, drawing a line at U line. U line 10 of 50. But here I have done a mistake here. I kept a U line of 10 of 50. It's not 10 of 50. It should be 10 of 20. U line 10 of 20 only. So if you execute the code, you will see the gaps like this. You will see the gaps like this. After drawing the U line, I am taking my cursor to the next line. So here there will be a gap. Here there will be a gap. Here there will be a gap. That means in the first line, second line, third line. In the third line, we are not completely drawing it. Who will draw this line? Who will draw this line? Who will draw this line? These gaps, we have to fill it. But we are not filling. So program will be syntactically correct. But when you execute, it will be wrong. So let's see this now. So I'm going to SE38. Y8B. Report 9. Create. Test debugging. Skip 3. U line. U line. In a new line, 10 of 50. 10 of 50. Right. Now, if you observe, I have not used forward slash here. When I don't use forward slash, what will happen? When the line comes like this, automatically over the line only I will get like this. I don't want it over the line. I want at the bottom. So one mistake I have done here. The same mistakes I will put here also. Write at 10. Pipe symbol 10. Write at 30. Pipe symbol. Write at 45. Pipe symbol. Write at 60. Pipe symbol. Next U line. In a new line at 10 of 20. Then write in a new line the same text, but in between one extra write statement 20 will come. Now U line 10 of 50. Now I check the syntax. Program is syntactically correct. If program is syntactically correct, does not means it is logically correct. There are multiple mistakes in this program. Logical errors. First logical error. First logical error. We forgot to give forward slash here. We forgot to give forward slash here. If I don't give forward slash in the same line, it will draw the vertical lines. So overwriting. Overwriting. So when I execute this, some things will be wrong. So see here, my table is not working as expected. Okay. So ideally, what we have to do, we have to take this cursor to the new line. Take the cursor to the new line. Activate. Execute. When I take the cursor to the new line, something else will come. Some other problem will come. Let's see what is the problem. Execute. See how it is coming. See the gap. See the gaps. Some gaps are coming. So what shall I do? What shall I do? So this here one forward slash we have to keep. After U line we have to keep one forward slash. Then I am keeping one forward slash in this line. After the underline, I have to take the cursor to the new line. So I am taking the cursor to the new line. Activate. Execute. So everything should come in new line. In the first line, what you want to draw. In the second line, what you want to draw. In the third line, what you want to draw. In the fourth line, what you want to draw. In the fifth line, what you want to draw. Total 5 lines. So first line, underline. Then second line, the vertical lines. Then third line. Then fourth line. Then fifth line. So when I activate it, execute it, you will get some wrong output. So who will cover this? Who will cover this? Who will cover this? Who will cover this? Now position wise, you see that everything is perfect. Position wise, everything looks perfect. But when I'm drawing a line, nothing is perfect. It's still there is something coming some gap. If you observe, common sense issue. If this is my screen, I'm starting at 10 and drawing a line exactly at 60 length. I'm drawing a line exactly at 60 length. And now I'm starting at 0. I'm drawing something of length here, vertical line. This vertical line, I'm keeping at 60. I'm keeping at 60. So indirectly, you might feel that, okay, here also we are drawing it. We are not drawing at 60. We are drawing a line of 60. But when I say 0 to 60, 0 to 60, indirectly, the line will be drawn at 61, not at 60. Because the count is not starting from 1. The count is starting from 0. 0 to 60 is 61. So this is ending at 60. This line is ending at 61. So you are seeing some gap here. When I execute, there is a gap. So already I told before executing that the program, your friends also told some vertical lines will come in between. So this is one way of identifying. Without executing the code, we have to analyze, okay, what can be the mistake, where I'm doing a mistake. For the first 10 to 15 programs, before executing, analyze it in your brain. If you cannot analyze it in your brain, take a paper and draw the lines like this manually. Okay, first line will give me this, second line will give me this, third line will give me this. Then you can say you have understood the code or the right statement perfectly. How it is working also, you know. Now, the second way of identifying, debugging, dry run, analyzing your code without executing. By seeing the program itself, you have to tell. If you go to a specialist doctor, the specialist doctor, by seeing the symptoms, he will give you the correct medicine. Over. He don't ask you to do the report scanning, etc. He will charge more. But what he will do, by seeing the symptoms, he'll give, okay, this is a medicine, use for 1 week, solved. But if you go to a small doctor, 3 4 times, after 15 days, come, if these medicines are not working, I will give you something else. He is experimenting on you, he is practicing, he started practice on you. That's what happens. So if you want to claim yourself as experience, by seeing the program itself, you should now every day you are sending some programs to the WhatsApp group. You are sending the screenshots. Do you think I am writing that code once again and see and debugging and saying that this is your mistake? By seeing your program only, I'm telling what mistakes you have done. So we call this as experience. If you want to claim some experience as experience, you should practice the dry run perfectly. Next, debugging. If you can't do the dry run, you can debug. Executing the line, executing the code line by line to find the bugs. By default, when you execute the code, the entire code will execute in one shot. The entire code will execute in one shot. But I want to see line by line what is happening. So first thing, note, to debug the code, the program should be active. So now I am just changing one space and I'm clicking save. The program is inactive. The program is inactive. For an inactive program, I cannot set a breakpoint. Here, if you see two red color dots, these two red color dots, you can use anything. What is the difference between these two? We have not seen now, we'll see later. When we are using the normal ABAP, there is no difference between these two. So right now, whether you want this stop or this stop, select the stop, it will give you a message. You can only set breakpoints in an active or unchanged source code. So my system is not allowing me to put a breakpoint. What is a breakpoint? Breakpoint. So you are telling the compiler, come and stop here. From here, from this point, from this point, I will execute. I will execute line by line. So come and stop here. Your work is stop here. So now I cannot keep a breakpoint. I am activating it. Activated. So once it is active, I can set some breakpoints. So I'm stopping at 12. I'm telling the compiler come and stop at 12th line. Execute. Execute. So debugger switched on and the compiler stopped here. So this is a new debugger which will confuse you. See, desktop 1, desktop 2, desktop 3, etc. A lot of things are there. It will confuse you. So for the first few days, until you are comfortable debugging, debugger switch to classical debugger, old debugger. Debugger, switch to new debugger will give you the new debugger. Switch to classical debugger will give you this. If you see, there are no tabs, many tabs are not there, simple one tab with your code. This blue color this blue color arrow is your cursor. Right now it is waiting at the skip, it is not executed. Now in the leftmost corner, if you see the topmost below the abap debugger, below the abap debugger you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. First button, second button, third button, fourth button, 5 buttons. Till now, any keyword got executed? Till now, any keyword got executed?
No, sir. No,
No.
sir.
This is the first keyword which will execute. You have to tell the system execute. So what we have to do? We have to use the function key F5. Execute one line. You have to use the function key F5. Or you can use this leftmost button. Single step. Single step in the bracket you are seeing F5. So on the keyboard you can press F5. Or you can use this button execute one line. So right now if you see here we have 5 buttons. Till now no output came. For the first time I'm executing this line F5. If you see this blue color, that blue color symbol indicates, the blue color table indicates there is some output. There is some output. So if you want, you can select this blue color symbol, you will see some output. But skip 3 lines, blank lines. It has left 3 blank lines, but you cannot see the difference because blank lines are with background color. So come back, execute one line, U line. So now it has drawn U line. If you want to see, select the blue color symbol. So it has drawn the U line. Now, by seeing you can go back, execute one line, and come back to the output and see what is happening. At 10th position, it has kept underline. Or by seeing the output, F5, F5, F5. So first line, second line, third line, fourth line. At 10th position, at 30th position, at 45th position, at 60th position, it has kept the line. F5. It is going to the next. When it went to the next line, it has clubbed up these two, but it has not clubbed up this. So there is still some gap. So either you have to reduce this line or you have to increase this line, one character. So there is a mistake here. Reduce one line or increase one line. So if you go back to the program, note where it is missing, where is happening. Between this and this, it is happening. So I have to increase one line or decrease one line depending on my requirement. So now again I'm going to the output. Select F5. Select F5. Select F5. Select F5. Select F5. Underline. So there are lots of gaps. So here there is a gap, here there is a gap, here there is a gap. So where is the gap? After first line, second line, after second line, third line. In the third line, we are getting a gap. That means after underline, we have to do something. What we have to do? We have to fill this gap. We have to fill this gap. We have to fill this gap. So we require 3 lines. 3 lines. So now going back, and then I am copying these 3 lines again after the U line. This is the first underline. This is the vertical symbols. Now this is the third underline. After third underline, I am drawing 3 lines in third line. Activate. Again debug and see. Debugging. Keep a breakpoint. Keep a breakpoint. So when you keep a breakpoint, you will see red signal here. You will see red signal here, stop point. So you are telling the system come and stop here. Come and stop here. If you don't want, again you can remove. Select the line, select that red button once again, that will get removed. Set the breakpoint, unset this breakpoint. So I'm setting the breakpoint and execute. So now the compiler will come. Compiler will open. Debugger, switch to classical. Switch to classical. And then see line by line. When I click F5, I got some output. If you want to see that output, you can see this blue line. If you are not getting this blue symbol, that means no output came. So now if I click blue symbol, I am seeing the output. By seeing the output, I can execute line by line, first line, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line, sixth line, seventh line, eighth line. See here, it is drawing one line here, one line here, one line here, and then it will mix that lines. Next, execute the code line by line and see what mistakes. Still, I have some mistake here. This one, this one. So one character gap is coming. So what shall I do? What shall I do? I can increase this line by 51, or I can reduce this line to 59. Reduce this line to 59 or increase this line by one character 51. So I'm increasing the line by one character. Activate. Still the breakpoint is there. Still the breakpoint is there. We have not removed the breakpoint. So if you execute, still the breakpoint is there. So once I execute it, you are running F5, F5. Go to the blue line, F5, 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 F5. So now the gap is covered. So I'm feeling that okay, enough debugging. I can go to output. So F5 for line by line. If you said okay, I found the mistake, go to the output. The last button F8, F8, F8. Proceed to proceed to output. So when I click F8, last button, the program will execute everything. So it is going your output. So initially this will be a bit confusing, but you have to understand like this. So now once again I'm explaining debugging. So I am going to yesterday's program. I am going to yesterday's program. Now I want to see what is happening inside this. Note, we cannot debug declarative statements. So keywords used to declare variables are called as declarative statements. We can only debug executable statements like if condition, write statements, skip statements, uline statements, etc. So declarative variables, declarative keywords, data, parameters, etc. So if you keep a breakpoint on these four fields, it's of no use. No use. So I am putting the breakpoint in the 17th line and telling the system stop. Yesterday, you have to just imagine how the program is working. There is no solid proof that the program is working like this. You have to imagine everything. But right now, I need not imagine. I can keep a breakpoint here and execute. Now give some values and give some symbol. I am giving wrong symbol wantedly. A. X I gave wrong symbol. When I execute, so the compiler will come and stop there. The compiler will come and stop there. So now, can you hear me? People, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, Saroj. Saroj, please do this. So now what I have entered in first input choice. What I have entered in choice. On the
12.
screen, what I have entered?
X.
X. If you don't remember it, what you can do is you can type that variable here, p underscore choice. It will give you what you have entered. What you have entered? X. Now what you have entered in num1, p
12.
underscore num1,
Well,
num1, whatever you have entered. P underscore num2, whatever you have
12.
entered. V underscore result, nothing will be there, 0. Now I am checking, is x equal to plus? Is x equal to plus?
No,
no,
s-
no, no,
no, sir.
no,
Is x equal to minus? No.
No.
X equal to into? No. X equal to divide? No. All are no's. So this condition satisfied or failed?
failed, failed.
So when I click F5, it won't go here. It will go to the else part. It will go to the else part. So now it is going to the else part and writing it. Right? So
Let's check.
you are
Invalid
getting the
choice.
invalid choice. Come back. Now I am giving a valid choice. I am giving valid choice into. Now again I am executing it. Again it will come to the debugging F5. It will come to the debugging point. Now what I have entered in the choice is into. So is into equal to plus? No. Is into equal to minus? No. Is into equal to into?
Yes, sir.
So when I
Yes.
click F5, execute one line, the program will try to go inside. Because this condition is success, it will go inside. Now it is checking, is into equal to plus?
No,
No. No.
So when I click F5, it will bypass that keyword and going to the next keyword. That means that condition is skipped. Now into equal to minus,
no,
No, sir.
so it will bypass it. Is into equal to into,
yes, sir.
Yes. In-
so it will go inside and execute the keyword. Once execution is over, it is coming to the last one. Is into equal to divide? No. So
No,
it won't execute it. It will come out. So instead of analyzing it, viewing it, I can execute the code line by debugging. If your program is not working as expected, you can debug. But suppose the program is not working in production system, then you won't have permission to debug. If you don't have permissions to debug, you have to analyze the code line by line. What is happening here? What is happening here? What is happening here? You have to imagine. If you don't have imagination, it will take a lot of time to fix the bug. So why we prefer specialist? Because of this reason. There is one bug, there is some issues. Now the client is calling the development team, there is a bug, fix it. Now I cannot take 2 3 days to resolve it. I have to resolve it immediately. Maximum 1 2 hours, which we have to give a solution. If a fresher is there, he can't analyze it properly. So if we take 2 3 years of experience people, he can directly analyze it and give me the result in 2 3 hours. So that is the main reason companies will prefer experience. But at the same time, olden days they used to keep lot of budget to the software field. But these days, because of recession, etc., the companies are not able to allocate enough funds to the software field because already the company is in losses. So to balance it, if we have 10 members, 5 members will be freshers, 5 members will be experienced. 5 members freshers who will get only 10,000 to 15,000 salary. Now one person with 3 plus, one person with 4 plus, one person with 6 plus. Like this, we'll have different levels, team leads, managers, etc. So now we have openings for all type of resources. If you have gap, try it with experience. Once you come to the company, whether you are a fresher or whether you have experience, you have to write rise fm reports, interface conversions, enhancements, forms. Only thing which will differ is your package. So wherever you have gap, suppose you are a mca candidate who completed your mca 3 years back, you can remove mca and try with msc. So how to prepare all those resumes, we'll see later. But as of today's topic, I'm concentrating on debugging and dry run. So you understood the dry run? First, without executing your code, you have to identify the mistake. That concept is called as dry run because every time we cannot debug. But let's assume you have the opportunity of debugging, we can execute line by line to find the mistake. So for the next 10 programs, after writing, take a paper and analyze it. Okay, my first keyword is doing this, my second keyword is doing this, and predict some output. Whatever you are predicting, once I execute the code, I am expecting the same output. If I am not getting the same output what I predicted, you have not understood how that keyword is working. You have only understood the syntax, but you have not understood how. Example, what is the meaning of book? What is the meaning of book? What is a book? Okay, something. It's a notes which will have some details, etc. Now, where to use this book? The sentence to formation. I book opened. I book opened. I have used some sentence. Is it correct?
No.
I book
No,
No.
sir.
opened. Book
No,
I
sir.
Oh, no.
opened. Book I opened.
No, sir.
No. No, sir.
So we have to frame the word sentence perfectly. We call it as a grammar. Here also we have to frame our keywords carefully. We are framing some sentences. If the sentences is wrong, the meaning will be wrong. So my program will give me wrong output. So how to frame? We have to practice. If you want to learn English, simply learning the words won't teach you English. If you start speaking, in the starting you will do some mistakes. Slowly you will improve. I am an English medium background student. Now let's assume there are many of my friends who are from English medium schools, rich schools, but they can't speak fluent English because in their house everywhere they'll speak Telugu only, so they get habituated. Their friends also speak Telugu, so they are habituated of Telugu only. They don't even know how to speak English. This is what happens. So if you come and listen to the keywords, you will feel everything is simple. But once you start practicing, you will see the difficulties. But 2 3 days if you practice, it will become very easy. So practice makes everyone perfect. Please practice. So as of today, I'm not giving any assignment. Just understand whatever programs you have done till now, 6 or 7 programs you have done till now, debug and see what is happening. Now, some people have not completed that sales report, the sales one, the customer. Some people have not completed. Try to complete it. Try to write the program and analyze it, and then debug it. So understand that debugging. Tomorrow's class completely depends on debugging. So practice this debugging. Catch you tomorrow.